Καλώς ορίσατε and welcome back. All right, we're going to start with our melanzane paputsakya, stuffed aubergines. Now, first of all, I'm going to show you how to prepare your aubergines for stuffing them. Now, leave the little stem on because they look nice with them, and then get a nice sharp knife and cut them in half. Right, the next thing you need to do is to take the seeds away. So really, you are taking some of the flesh away to create little boats or little shoes, as we're calling them today. Paputsakya means little shoes in Greek. That's all you need to do. And then you season them with some salt and pepper, and then you pass them to your son to fry them.
Thank you.
All right. Now, I'm going to show you the filling now. Put the heat on. It's very important. Then you only need a little bit of olive oil in here, maybe a tablespoon of olive oil. That's all you need because we've got mincemeat, so we don't need a lot of olive oil. Right, you need 1 onion finely chopped. Add it in there. And then you add 2 cloves of garlic, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic finely chopped. And here we've got half a pound of minced lamb. Now, you can use beef or you can use pork. It doesn't matter. You need to fry your meat, of course, until it changes color. Our meat is nice and brown now, and I broke all the lambs with my wooden spoon. And now I'm going to add some red wine, a glass of red wine. And I'm also going to add 3 fresh tomatoes, peeled and thinly chopped by Solos.
Yes.
And I'm also going to add 2 teaspoons of tomato puree. It's like making moussaka filling here. And actually, this recipe does taste like moussaka, but it doesn't take as long to make, to prepare. So this is for the lazy women or for people that don't have much time to spend in the kitchen, actually. Right, we're also going to add some cinnamon, a teaspoon of cinnamon. And now I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. And now our sauce is ready, but it needs to simmer for at least 25 minutes to half an hour until it reduces, like this one we have here. And when it reduces, you add some parsley. About 2 tablespoons of parsley. And our sauce is ready. Now, I am going to start making the bechamel sauce. That's the topping to go on top of our paputsakya. Now I'm going to make the bechamel sauce. Solos is frying the aubergines for us. And how are you doing, Solos? They look ready to me.
Look ready to me too.
Yeah,
nice
all
and
right.
brown.
Make sure you drain them very well.
I will
now, for the bechamel sauce, we need 3 ounces of butter. And also you need a nice round saucepan for this, so you can get into the corners. All right. We also need, you melt the butter, and then you add 3 ounces of plain flour. You mix that together to cook the flour. You need to cook the flour until it starts to get nice and brown. And once you do that, remove it from the heat and start adding your milk. Now, you need to add the milk really, really slowly. Here we've got 1 pint of milk. And then you put it back into the heat, but you must stir all the time. Okay, after 10 minutes, the sauce looks like this, nice and thick, but not too thick. All right, now we need to mix 1 egg. You have to switch the heat at this time because you don't want the egg cooking. And also I'm going to add a couple of ounces of kefalotiri cheese. Now, if you don't have kefalotiri cheese, use Parmesan cheese. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm going to show you how to fill our aubergines. Make some space first. Oh, and I'm a messy worker, you know. Right. Here we have our mixture. I tasted it and it's really, really nice. It doesn't need any more salt and pepper. You must taste your food all the time. By the time I finish my recipes, I finish all the food. Okay, fill them like that, and then we need to top it with our bechamel sauce. Couple of tablespoons on each one of this beautiful bechamel sauce. Once you do that, you add more grated cheese on top of each one. And then we need to make a little bit of sauce to go in the bottom of our baking dish. So in here I've got just a cup of hot water, and I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of tomato puree, just 2 teaspoons of tomato puree, mixed it in water, and then pour it in the bottom of the pan. Right, so we'll have a nice sauce with our little shoes. Right, we need to put them now in a preheated oven, 190, gas mark 5, for about 30 to 35 minutes. And we've got some that have been cooking, so we're going to take them out. Oh, thank you, Charles. I hope you've got your oven gloves with you.
Absolutely, I'm not going to take those out without. These look just terrific.
Oh, yes.
Look at those. Brilliant.
Great.
What about a little wine?
Let's go and have some wine and some food. Right, let's sit down.
Terrific.
This is the best part of the day.
Always is, always is. Look at those, they look brilliant.
Don't they look nice? I think I'm going to put you on, Charles.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to pass me your plate?
Yep, oops, there we are.
I'd like to see what you think of them.
Great.
I think they look really, really nice.
Now, of course, as well as your recipes and the wonderful things that you're going to be cooking, we're also going to be discussing wines to go with the foods that you've cooked.
Yes.
In every particular recipe that you cook, I'm going to suggest 1 Greek wine and probably two other wines, because just because it's a Greek recipe doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to stick with Greek wines.
I agree
and
with
also, there are a few good Greek wines here in the UK, but some of the wines I'll be using in the series will have actually been specially brought in because they aren't available here. I've got 3 Greek wines here which very much illustrate the modern thinking behind Greek wines. Well, 2 of them are very modern wines, and 1 of them is a very traditional style, but I think a really successful traditional style.
Yeah.
This is the first one. This is a white wine. It comes from an estate. And now this in itself is quite unusual because 10 years ago there weren't really very many small wine estates making their own wines. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Most of the wines that we saw, certainly imported into the UK from Greece, came from large producers, people like Boutari, Achaya Klaus, Kambas, Kaligas. I mean, these big, big companies. Now, I think one of the most exciting things now about Greek wine is that more and more of these small estates are coming to the fore, and you're getting these lovely wines. This comes from Domaine Hadji Michalis, who's best known actually for his red wine.
Yeah.
He makes an excellent Cabernet. But this is a white wine. It's made from Greek varieties. And that is another exciting thing, because there have been wonderful grape varieties in Greece since ancient times.
Yes.
And many of them are still being made into excellent wines now. Better now, I would say, than they ever have been.
Yes, because Greek wines not had a good names up to now, but now they seem to be getting it right.
Absolutely.
You know.
That, you see, that's an immaculate modern white wine. It's got character, it's got perfume, it's crisp, it's refreshing, it's excellently made. This one
is this another Greek one?
This is another Greek one. I'm just going to show Greek wines this time. This is from Nemea, one of the great regions of Greece. This I've chosen actually to go with this, because I think this Nemea will go very well with your beautiful aubergine shoesies.
The best way is to eat a little bit and drink a bit of the wine.
Lovely. You see, it's a lovely, rich, fruity flavour. I mean, it's made from a grape called the Ioritikos. And it's full of fruit in a way that Greek wines perhaps didn't used to be in the old days. Yeah. And again, it's from another small estate called Skouras. And I think he makes very good wine. And there are many other estates like this that are popping up, very often owned by quite wealthy people. And they're really revolutionizing that. I'm going to put you this in the other glass because it's another white wine. Now, this is the traditional one. This is a muscat from Samos. It's very, very sweet.
Samos has a good name for wines.
For muscats.
Yes,
sweet
for muscats. Yes.
It won't go with this, but it's a marvelous... It's a terrific wine. It's got these lovely flavors of orange and honey, and it's good. It's not possibly quite as cool as it should be. It's almost
like a dessert wine, really, isn't it?
It is a dessert wine.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
When we come to your puddings, it's going to be great.
Definitely.
Anyway, don't worry if you missed any of the details of my wines or Loulla's recipes, because every time at the end of every program, we'll give you the details. So grab a pen and paper for today's recipe, melitsanes papoutsakya, and the wines to go with it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid we've come to the end of our first show, but do join us again next time for the beginning of our series on meat. Now, what are you cooking?
I'll be making souvlaki, which is kebabs. Everybody knows what kebabs are.
Yes. And you made a lovely film right out in the country, didn't you? On a Sunday, was it a Sunday?
It was a Sunday lunch, actually. I was invited by a shepherd, and he cooked a whole lamb on the spit. It was the best meal I had in Greece, believe me.
Well, I'll be back with wines to go with the food. We look forward to seeing you then.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Now, this is oh, it's terrific.
Granada Good Life.